Good. Welcome, welcome. If you are new to LifeWave and here for the first time, thank you so much for coming. We're going to do a really short Discover LifeWave, and then we're going to go into interviewing a beautiful person that I have now had the opportunity to meet briefly, and I hope to get to know her a little bit more as time goes on. But if this is your first experience with LifeWave, and the technology behind what I want you to do. And if somebody can help me out and put in the chat, if you don't mind, Arnell or Angeline, the website that we use with our community is called miraclereadyinfo.com. So if you have a pen and paper, write it down because I'm just going to briefly touch on it, but you are welcome to go back to it, take a look at it, dive a little bit deeper. As you can see here, there's a few different pages, but we're going to stick to page one, the home page. And X39 is the patch that has taken this company from 60 million to 20 million to 600 million in the last 4 years, the 3,000% growth. And for the second year in a row, we're the fastest growing company, not only in North America, but we are the fastest growing company in this channel of marketing in the world. So that's something to be said. And we're a company that's over 20 years old. So it's got a strong foundation and we're just getting started. So that to me is a beautiful opportunity for your health or whatever you're looking for as well, sharing it, paying it forward. So have you been patched yet? X39, our foundation patch. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this quick 2-minute video for you so you get a little bit of a history so that you know the credibility of what we're talking about tonight as we interview Kim.
An empowered life has no expiration date. We're all created to do incredible things, like conquer summits, catch big waves, live our passions. As time goes on, our bodies begin to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy levels decline, sleep patterns shift, and recovery slows. But our bodies are masterpieces of design, holding the potential to bounce back better than ever. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and regenerative science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHKCU, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, which requires external light sources, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality, enhancing the body's flow of natural energy. For improvements in strength, stamina, performance, and overall health and well-being, with the simplicity of an affordable, non-invasive, non-transdermal patch. As we age, levels of these life-enhancing elements, which are associated with wellness and longevity, begin to decline. LifeWave invested 10 years into stem cell research, which resulted in over 70 patents. X39 was born to bring to the public a product that can support wellness in an entirely new way, supporting the production of younger, healthier cells with wearable light technology. Becoming a powerhouse is easier than you think. Harness your body's natural potential to maintain youthful energy and vitality, because life comes at you fast, but it doesn't have to pass you by. Live long, live well, live young. Be the light with LifeWave X39. LifeWave.
Okay, so that gives you a glimpse of what we're going through. And beside it, there's a 1 minute, 30-second video. If you're like, how do those work? This actually gives you a nice explanation of it. So what do we do? Patch up, wear the technology, and create your experience. So go through this site. I'm going to scroll down here fairly quickly. Go through the before and afters. There's pictures before and afters with written. There's also videos, short testimonials, and then we also have the recordings of our success stories that we share tonight. And what I want you to just look at as well is how our body works and what we are so excited about when we find out by the time we're 30, we lose 50% of our master cell activity and 60, nearly 90%. It doesn't sound very promising, does it? But here we are to share a little bit, and I'm going to share one more video here with you with David Schmidt, the owner. And what I love his quote is, "This isn't anti-aging, this is age reversal." So how do we want to perform when we get older? And it's not for just older, it's for every age. So I'm going to play this one so you can get a glimpse of the founder and why we're pretty excited to sit here and share this technology forward, and know that we're just scratching the surface on people knowing. And I have a friend that says, not barely anybody knows about this, but everybody needs this.
Hmm.
So I always say, who do you know that might want to hop on at a time to listen to the information to see if this might be for them or not? So I'm just going to play this because I've met David a few times. Go through this. It gives the history of LifeWave written, but I'm going to give you a glimpse of who David is and moving forward to where he's going.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. There is more information there than most people would ever realize. I was 8 years old, and my parents wanted to take me to the workshop of Thomas Edison. On the drive back home, I said to my dad, I want to be an inventor. Light, as it turns out, is the primary control mechanism for everything else that happens in the body. What if we could have an external electromagnetic field that would essentially reset the stem cells that are already in our bodies and get them to function like younger, healthier cells? What if in the process, we actually found out that in a book that was written thousands of years ago, that information already existed? God has left his fingerprint in natural design, and that blueprint shows up in nature. The mathematical codes are identical. The implications to this are absolutely extraordinary. What drives me is that there's this enormous sense of hope that we can create technology to generate clean energy, that we can have foods that aren't genetically modified, and we can meet all of the needs on the planet that we have to, and that we can heal people.
Okay, so this just gives you a glimpse. So go to the site miraclereadyinfo.com, then get back to the person who invited you here. And a lot of times we get, where do I get started, right? So if you want to dig a little bit deeper, kind of get an idea of it, but if you scroll down to the very bottom of this first page, it gives this is what our team loves. Option one, option two. Of course, you can do whatever you would like, but these are short 6-minute videos to give you a couple different ideas. And then, of course, we explain the packs below in the 6-minute video. Once you've done that, you'll have an idea of where you want to get started, and you can just get back to that person who shared this site with you and let them know. And if you have any more questions, we're happy to answer that. But one of my favorite things that we get to do now is we get to speak with an individual who, we always want to know what happened for you. And this is the best part of Wednesday nights for us. And so I'm just going to bring you up, Kim. I'm going to bring myself up and we will have a conversation. I've met you a couple of times. I just want to welcome you. I'm so happy that I have an opportunity to get to know you. I just got to know you a little bit now, and usually, and I dropped the ball. Usually, I kind of get an idea of who you are, give you a little bit of a better intro than just your name, but I forgot to do that. So I actually want to let people know that what I got to know about Kim as we were getting ready for tonight is that Kim spent most of her life living in Venezuela,
Mhm.
but originally from Louisiana.
Mhm.
And I mean, what an experience of meeting so many different people. But what I can tell people about you, Kim, is that though I've only met you a couple of times, you just are so easy to talk to.
Oh,
Just
thank
have
you.
a nice kindness where I'm like, "Hey, Kim," and you're just very welcoming and open. So I'm very happy that you get to share your story. And my first question for you would be, how did you find out about LifeWave and how did that transpire for you?
Okay, so I am a good friends with James Wood that you guys all know and have been for a long time. We were in another business like 30 years ago together, kind of lost contact, and then we started talking again. And one day he called and he literally said, "Hey, can you jump on?" No, I think he texted me, excuse me, didn't even call me. He just texted me. And he said, "Can you jump on a Zoom in 20 minutes?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he said, "Okay." And he gave me the information. I did not know what I was jumping on, why, who, nothing. And I had had surgery on my eyes about 3 days before this. So I was black and blue. And not, but I really don't care too much about makeup and that kind of thing. But I was like, okay. So I did what I was instructed to do, and I got on the call. And on the call was David Schmidt, who I didn't know who he was. And Renata was on the call, and Renata had also had surgery. So we were a matching pair. It was just hilarious. So I got on the call and they started to talk about LifeWave and didn't really, to be honest with you, didn't talk a lot about the patches or exactly how they worked or which one did you use for this. Not really a lot of detail. But I've been a nurse for years and years and years and kind of gone over to the holistic side. And what they said was that this was a way to treat, not to treat things, that's not the proper word, but this was a way to affect things in a different way using light therapy. And that's pretty much what we talked about. And then David talked a little bit more in depth about how he got started in it and whatnot. And it was maybe a 15-minute Zoom, not much. And we all said goodbye and hung up. So then Renata, um, she called me. She got my phone number from James and called and said, "Hey, do you have a moment to get on a Zoom with me?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I just got started. I mean, she just said, "Which package are we doing?" And I had no idea what I was buying a package of or what I was going to do with it. But I was intrigued. I really was. And meeting, David and just hearing what he had to say and just being on a call with him, you could just feel his energy and know that this was going to be something big.
The
Um,
authenticity, like
yeah.
yeah, I know. I have had the opportunity to meet David in person and have a conversation, and you're
Mhm.
right. You can just feel it. I get goosebumps actually. You
Yeah. Yeah.
can feel
Yeah.
the realness and the integrity. I don't. It's hard to put a sort of a definition on it, isn't it?
Yeah, when I described him to one of my friends, I said that he was the smartest, humble person I had ever met
Yeah.
because he couldn't help but, the his integrity and his intelligence and his vision couldn't help but come out because that's who he is. But then at the same time, there was this soft humbleness to him that made you feel like, you were part of it already. You didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and so I did. I got started. Renata helped me to get started. We talked about patches. She helped me select my patch pack and whatnot. Um, and if you've never been, I'm sure you all know Renata, but being started by her was probably the best thing that could have happened to me as well, because she took so much time and went through everything in a detailed way that you could follow. Like I knew what I was doing because I followed her and I took notes at the same time, and she was fine with that. She didn't care if I took a little bit more time. So that's how I wound up in LifeWave.
Well, it sounds like you actually uh, came into LifeWave on the speed of trust.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because you had that relationship with James, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I actually have my personal sponsor and dear friend Angeline actually listening and on this call. And that's how I started. I didn't know what I said yes to.
Hmm.
There was glimpses. I was looking for something, for my horse, and she said they did a clinical study. I'm not really sure much about it, but this and that, and this is what I did. And I said, okay, order me, sign me up. And so, and I want to say it was the blind leading the blind in a way, but isn't that sometimes the best way to start?
Yeah. I think that. I mean, most of the decisions that I make in my life are definitely driven by a higher power, God, whatever it is you believe in.
Yeah.
And I really felt like it was kind of one of those moments. That I didn't have any, trepidation about it. I didn't, think about it. I just knew that I was in the right place at the right time, and I just went forward.
Okay.
That's how I got started.
So do you regret it now? Like, are you
No,
like, no, I'm just
mm-mm,
joking.
no,
I didn't think you did.
no.
So
Mm-mm.
as you got started and you ordered and started sort of plugging in, because I've seen you on a few
Oh,
calls,
yeah.
and I think
Mhm,
that's probably important. Do you want to sort of touch on that? Like, as you didn't know what you didn't know, but then Renato is there to support you with her
mhm.
knowledge as well as
Right,
support James.
right.
Um, there I think that's a really important piece of when you go into this channel of direct sales, direct
Mhm,
network marketing,
right.
how important is it to get into the right community or the right team?
It is. And I have been in a few different things. One of the first ones that I was involved with had a great system. And they constantly taught us how to go from step A to step two, one, two, three, four, the 8-step pattern, so forth and so on. And so you had a pattern, even when you couldn't get a hold of your upline or your sponsor, you did have something that you could look back on and say, okay, I can do this. I'm on step one, I'll go to step two. So that was really a good teaching then. But I've been in a couple of situations where there was no teaching, except for once a week there was a Zoom, and there was one person who did the Zooms every time, and then that was it. But we never really had a training on, okay, here's how you do the Zoom. Here's how you teach someone to do the Zoom, because as we all know, that's where the growth is going to come from. Our growth personally is going to come from teaching other people and sharing with other people. And then they're going to learn, and then they'll do the same thing. And it just carries on and carries on and carries on. So I think that since I've been in this group, you guys have lots and lots of opportunities to plug into things, just for community, for teaching, for a lot of different things. I go to a lot of different meetings. Sometimes I don't even know what it's going to be about, but I have the time and I just jump on and wind up. I learn something every single time. And then you and James and some other people are involved in actually putting these videos together, which are phenomenal. You literally can walk somebody through it the second time that you see it, and they work. They definitely work. So I think it's important to plug in and know what's coming next. You don't have to do everything. I don't feel obligated, but
Mhm.
I do know what's coming next. I do know what meetings are on the agenda. I do know what I can plug into. And I think that's very important for a new person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Oh, well, that's exciting. And that's cool that you have a bit of experience on something that has been positive and then other things where it's like, okay, there's lack. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, you started, your pack arrived,
Hmm.
and you loved the idea of it. And with a health practitioner background, being a
Right.
nurse and things
Hmm.
like that. So there was a bit of things that started to intrigue you with what you started to find out about it. I
Hmm.
love that you intuitively got guided into, I feel like that too, because I was like, no, 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 I'm never going to do this
Hmm.
again, to darn it, I'm doing this again, whether
Yeah.
I want to or not.
Hmm.
And I'm so grateful I am now. I'm
Oh,
actually
yeah.
struggling anymore with that
Mhm.
at all. It was like a glimpse. But for you, what happened for you when you started using the technology on yourself? You had eye surgery, you said, so.
Yeah, I did. I had eye surgery. I had like really bad, it's a condition, but anyway, you have bags on the top of your lids that get so bad that you can't, you have to get them fixed. It's not a matter of how you look, you have to get them fixed. So that's what it was. But um I I got the one thing that I felt like, and it's so weird because some people feel this and some people don't. And it can be a husband and a wife, two people on the same diet who live in the same house. But the minute that I put that first patch on, I felt it. I
Mm,
felt something. And I was like, oh. But my husband, on the other hand, it made him feel more tired. He actually, I think, went into detox,
oh,
like right away. Whereas I didn't. But I drink a lot more water than he does, and I think maybe that's a big difference too. But So I felt more energy from the very beginning. I felt, like I had a little bit more strength. I'm 66. We are retired nurses, but we live on a farm. So I raise goats and we have cows, and so I have to fool with them, physically sometimes, and I could do that. But the one thing that I noticed first was that I didn't have any eyebrows and no eyelashes hardly at all. I
Oh.
don't know if it was from going through menopause or COVID or what it was, but that's the first thing that I noticed was that that all grew back. It took about probably 2 months.
Mhm.
And then the next thing that I noticed is that my hair turned back the original color almost completely within 6 months.
Wow.
And I wasn't expecting that. I had not really seen a testimonial about that. I wasn't waiting for it to happen. It just did. And I have to get my hair cut every 3 weeks. I like my hair short, but anyway, I have to get it cut every 3 weeks because it's just not manageable. That's how fast it grows.
Well, I mean, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
amazing. And
Hmm.
I really like that you touched on that because there's a lot of times, with everything that we've learned or maybe everything that we've been told is when somebody's dealing with something, of course, as impatient as we are, and we're just human, and I'm guilty of it too. It's
Yeah.
like I want it fixed yesterday.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
so, what do you have to say for people that are like, oh, within a week or 2 weeks or even a month or even a month and a half, where they're like, I don't feel anything.
Hmm. Well, I actually stole this from Renata, and I thought it was great. She was doing a video, a Zoom for me for some new people, and she said, especially the X39, don't expect that you're going to feel something from it. It's working internally, and it's working on things that you don't even know are broken. And she said, when you take a cholesterol medicine, do you feel your cholesterol getting lower? And I was like, whoa. No, you don't.
Hmm.
When you take something for your heart, I mean, do you necessarily know that that's happening? Do you feel your blood pressure dropping? No. And so that I use that over and over again with people, and I tell them that up front. I use your piece about, the house on fire,
Hmm.
and let's go ahead and put that out with the Eon and the light shoots, just lost ice wave.
Yeah.
And then we're going to bring in the builders, which is X39, X49.
Hmm.
But then, I tell them, don't expect that this is going to make this drastic change to your health or your life or your body in the first month. It may take 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And it's just funny. Some people, like within the first month, they're like, I feel so much better.
Yep.
And then other people, they're like, well, I really don't feel anything. I don't know. And, there's nothing we really can do about that except encourage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's the best thing I've ever seen or heard of. I just think that it's awesome that you're not putting medications in your body, that
Yeah.
this is all being done naturally and making your body heal yourself.
Yeah. Just with the
Mhm.
frequency where it's a specific communication of a light frequency
Yeah.
that when you place it on your body, it wakes your body up to act like it was when it was younger.
Yeah.
So I love that because,
Mhm.
I bet you didn't feel your hair color changing back. You just sort of
I
noticed
didn't.
one day, right? Or you didn't really, could you imagine what it would feel like if we could feel our hair growing in? I don't know
I
how
know.
comfortable that would be. But those are the things where it's like notice. And I think that's why there's a huge piece for us to be the information education to really support people through the process of maybe doubt because they're not feeling something.
Hmm.
But, as we get older, we don't feel it happening. It just all of a
No.
sudden
Yeah.
shows up, but it's been going on for a while. So,
One of the things that I've learned is to listen to the people that are actually trying the patches, because everybody's body reacts differently. So, in a way, I was expecting them to have some of the same results that I did, or maybe feel the way that I did. And my sister-in-law has problems with her blood sugar, and she checks it every day. And she is the one who said to me, have you, because my husband has the same problem with his blood sugar. She said, have you noticed his blood sugar's going down? I said, well, he doesn't really check them every day. She said, well, I do, and mine have dropped significantly. So we started monitoring his, and his have come down like a lot. I won't go into any detail, but his have definitely changed, and nothing else has ever helped. Nothing. Not medications, not diet, not exercise, nothing. And now this, and it has to be this, is no other change. And
Wow.
it's happening to her at the same time. But if I hadn't really listened to what her experience was,
Wouldn't have known it.
I may not have really paid attention to this or thought about how this is, really affecting his body. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
Hmm.
amazing. Yeah, we never know. This is my favorite part is checking in and finding out. And I was very grateful that I started paying this forward because I looked at the depth of this. I looked at other people's stories and
Hmm.
I looked at the validation with
Right.
the clinical trials, but by no means read
Mhm.
all the clinical trials. But
Right.
there's just such validation and you can't
Hmm.
make something up. For me, I thought you can't you can't make up 20 plus years and still have a
No.
strong company that's just
Hmm.
getting started.
Right.
Really, it's like a startup, but it's like, it's going to stay because it's been here for 20 years.
Hmm.
So I just think that's amazing. And that, allows me to have that credibility to pay it forward because
Hmm.
there were so many people with different situations that I may or may never have. And I just thought they better know about this. And
Hmm.
that's exactly, I think, what you do as well, Kim, is you
Hmm.
say, you might want to know about this, give them the
Hmm.
information, and they either choose to try it or they don't.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And it's not, if you came to my house and I noticed that your glasses were broken, I would definitely tell you that your glasses are broken. I mean, I wouldn't even think about, well, what if she doesn't like that? What if she likes her glasses like that? I would never even think that. I would just say, "Hello, your glasses are broken." I don't know why we treat this so with so much sensitivity in a sense. We're just sharing like women always do about everything. We're not even, that's the one thing that confused me about this in the beginning was that I kept waiting to learn how to sell this, and
Mm,
you don't sell it.
nope.
It's completely organic, and you meet people and they say something, or about them having, certain issues or whatever, and you just say, "Hey, look, this may not be for you, but I tried it and this was my experience. Do you think this is something you'd be interested in?" And you walk away friends.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
And it's beautiful. We have the website, so it's like, hey, take a
Mhm.
look at this. I'd love to know what any
Yeah.
questions, and then just go with that and let that. We never have to be David. We just have to bring it
No.
in just the way perfect. We're just messengers.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel.
Yeah.
Love it. There's a few
Yeah.
questions, or do you want to add any last minute things, Kim, or do you feel like
Um,
you covered it? Because I know there might be a couple questions.
no, that's fine. We can go to the questions if you like.
Okay, perfect. All right. Um, Somebody asked about the blood sugar and what patches your husband used.
The one that seemed to change everything is Eon. He uses X39, X49 during the day, and he uses Eon, and he puts them on his forehead on the third eye. And so when my sister-in-law got started, I told her, her patches to put them in the same place, not realizing honestly that it was going to do anything about the blood sugar.
Right?
But they both have them in the same place, and both of them have had the same result. So now every night he goes to sleep with that. And it helps with snoring. I don't know if you know that or not, but
I have a husband. I absolutely know it.
wonderful.
I
It's
actually,
wonderful.
yeah, my husband actually, he would hold his breath. It didn't matter what weight,
Mhm.
because he would just be, if he was active or not active, he
Yeah.
would always do that. And
Mhm.
I would elbow and he would
Mhm.
roll over and
Mhm.
then I go back to sleep.
Mhm.
I put the Eon on him and I stayed awake staring at him because I couldn't hear anything. He was so quiet. It was
Mhm.
amazing. And
Yeah.
I find that it doesn't really matter where we place it
Mhm.
because the body just wakes up and
Yeah.
does its job. So it's not about
Yeah.
location for the most part,
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. And like I said, the only reason why I mentioned that was because that's what we did and that's what my sister-in-law did. And it seemed, thought maybe there was a correlation there, but
Yeah. Well, and play around, right? That's
Mhm.
why like some people like I really like the Eon behind my right ear. I'm wearing it right now.
Mhm.
And then other places that it is true, but I always say play around. There's no right or wrong. Everybody's different and so I would say to trust yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I
I will say that I had an injury. I was actually on a Zoom and had to run downstairs to turn off a vacuum cleaner that had come on suddenly. And running down the stairs, I missed a step and jumped down two more and landed on the side of my ankle.
And so I had to go to the emergency room, tore 3 ligaments in my ankle, and they put me on crutches, couldn't walk, whatever. So when I went to see the orthopedist a week later, I had patches all over my ankle. And he's like, "What are those?" And I'm like, I said, "Well, they're patches that I use to help my body, help heal itself." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And he said I would be in a boot for 4 weeks and that I would be off my foot, like, I wouldn't be able to really do anything for at least 8 weeks, that it was that bad. And he said, come back. We may have to do surgery, this and that and the other. And I was thinking, nope, no, you don't know me and you don't know my patches. And so within 2 weeks, I was out of the boot.
Wow.
And I just had to be careful, and I'm careful what shoes I wear and that kind of thing. But it was pretty much completely healed in 4 weeks. I can do anything I want to do. It's still sore a little bit certain times, but the swelling and the bruising and everything went away so fast, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it is. And it's just
Yeah,
sort of experience it to believe it, really,
you really do.
over
Yeah,
and over. But yeah, get them on your body. That's all I say to
yeah,
people. Get them on your body. Give it a go. You won't
yeah,
worry about that.
yeah.
Now, Barb said, and I like it, she goes, it sounds like a great opportunity to share with your hairstylist, because if you can imagine all the number of haircuts she'll have to do, increasing her income stream as well. So,
I know. I did do that. I
huh?
did do that. And sometimes it's a matter of timing. She was having a lot of pain in her legs, did the ice wave, the Eon, the pain went away immediately. I mean, so she got a good experience from it. At the same time, they're selling their house, they're building a new house, and you know what I mean, like starting something new.
Yep.
I think that she will do it, and she's very supportive of me, and she always teases me about my hair and takes pictures of the back of my head for me.
Yeah.
And she has given me some referrals. So I agree. And I did do it, but timing, I just think the timing is off right now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And you know
Yeah.
what? Yeah, it's all about relationships. We keep
Mhm.
the relationships going, and when somebody's
Yeah.
free, we're here for them. And yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
that's well,
Definitely.
Dale Ann has something, and I think we don't have any other questions. Dale Ann brought her hairstylist on board last week. She's
Hmm.
looking forward to generate.
Very good.
So I love it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you so much for
Oh,
sharing.
no, thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, no, you've inspired me and given me insights on how you share things. I'm like, I'm gonna use some of your stuff that you say because it really just is about paying it forward and caring. And I like
Yeah.
the analogy of, yeah, please tell me if my glasses are broken. Why would we not want? So thank you so much, Kim,
Oh,
for
you're welcome. Thank you guys.